hope you're having a great day. Isn't that sky pretty? I saw that and I was like, well, I'll just start with that sky. So I'm out here at the farm and I've got this little tool. It's going to tell me the temperature of things. I should have done this at dark actually, but I'm going to do it right now. It's about 11 o'clock. I'll flip you around. It looks like it's 30 degrees right now. It got down to 22 degrees last night, so I did cover all of my tulips, hoping to keep them a little warmer. And then my dad had a good idea. He said, why don't you take this gun? If you shoot it, it tells the temperature of things, so I can shoot the leaves and see how warm they are. We did a little test earlier, and I shot some grass that was in the shade, and it was like 30 degrees, and then we shot grass that was in the sun, and it was already 44 degrees, even though it's only 30 degrees outside. So what I'm gonna do is shoot some of these tulips, and then get under my hoops and shoot them and see if there's a big difference or not. And again, at night, it would be a lot different than in the day when the sun's already been shining. But it's a fun little test. So let's just lift this up. Both hands, really. Oh. Uh-oh. There's buds in here. 46, 45. I don't know, maybe the ground is even warmer. So yeah, it looks like, see that red dot on the tulip? So when I'm actually hitting a red dot, sometimes I'm just hitting the air in between, it gets colder. But it looks like they're 46 degrees. So we've got 46 versus about, it looks like 39, because the red dot, you can see it on the tulip. So they are definitely at least 5 or 6 degrees warmer inside the hoops than they are outside on the ground. So that's awesome. And the ground inside of the hoop versus the ground outside in the sunlight is actually a little colder. So the sun definitely really warms stuff up, which we all know that. That's no surprise. But I wonder at night in darkness what it would be. That'll be an interesting test to see, because if it's keeping it 5 or 6 degrees warmer, it got down to 22 degrees last night. I'll throw a picture of the weather on the screen, but it got to 22 degrees. And so if it was keeping it 5 or 6 degrees warmer in there, it'd still be at 27, 28 maybe degrees, which is freezing. But as you can see, these tulips that have been out in the 32 degrees all night, well, their leaves have definitely gotten eaten by something, and they do feel soft. Oh, and there is a tulip bud in there. The leaves feel okay. They don't feel horrible. So if anything, there's a bud in that tulip. So we'll see if I get any tulips this year, and we'll see if the ones that I covered on the really cold nights do better than the ones outside of it. And then next year we'll kind of have a reference point, like, yes, your tulips can get down to 22 degrees and they're fine, or no, they can't. So I'm just trying to kind of video the process, and then in a future video or future years, we'll know. But right now, since the sun definitely shows that it warms things up really quick, even though it's only 30 degrees out, I'm definitely going to take these hoops off, let these tulips get some sun, and let them get warmed up, and let the ground underneath them get warmed up too. So there are definitely tulip buds. Like that's a tulip bud right there. But not all of them have them showing yet. They're down in there. And some of these don't have them yet. Okay, they're all up. The tulips are getting some sun. They can warm up now, and hopefully they'll be okay. I do see some tulip buds in there. I hope I have protected them enough and done enough things where I will have tulips this year, but we'll have to wait and see, and in future years, I guess we'll know. So, yay! Another day. So it looks like they're about at 45 degrees right now. even though the temperature outside is 30. These smaller ones, there's a leaf, 45, 46. And then the ground temperature is up in the 50s, even on the surface. I don't know if we dig down a little, like let's just take some away and shoot in there. Let's see how far if that changes things. Oh yeah, it's much colder in there than on the surface. And that's probably because of the sun, but still above freezing, even if I dig down a little ways. There's a tulip bud in there. Get right on it. It looks like it's 40 degrees. So hopefully it hasn't frozen. It does, sometimes they look a little wilty at the tips when they've been frozen. So, and they do look really small. I don't know what is going to happen to these. So even though it's 30 degrees out, but it is like 11 o'clock, they are at 40 degrees. And I've been watching the temperature. So last night it got down to 22, but it really wasn't last night that it got down to 22. It was really like 7 o'clock this morning. So at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, those are what, like when I see my low and my high for the day, the low is always at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if it's just the time of year, but right now when it says it's 30 degrees outside at the ground level, it's actually around 50 degrees. The tulips are 40 degrees. So we're looking at about 10 degrees, maybe, I mean, even up to 20 degrees warmer down at the ground than at the air temperature that they're giving us the temperature at. While I'm at it, in here, let's see how warm the stalk are. 45. The ground temperature, 49. Ooh, that one's 57 that's been sitting in the sun. Right on the leaves, 52. And these are actually doing okay in here compared to the ones that just died outside. So whatever ate the tops off of them never came back to eat anymore. So it either made them not feel good or they didn't like the taste. So they've left them alone. They're not great. I mean, they're not great, but they're alive and they have green on the top. So it's interesting to see. So anyway, that's an update on in here as well. Garlic obviously is fine with the cold. It's looking fantastic still. Doesn't even look like anything is wrong with it. Okay, but I wanted to come over here. Let's find like, it looks like this is shady. Let's see what the temperature in the shade is of this tree. I'm just gonna point it at the ground and shoot. Look at that. 32.5. Let's go out here to the sun. The sun makes quite a bit of difference. So what that tells me is if I have things on the south side where they're getting a ton of sun and the sun comes up at 7:15, even if the temperature is only like 30 degrees at 7, that sun is going to warm that right up and keep it warm. So that's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to see with your own eyes. So it is freezing cold, windy, and insane, and I am getting ready to go out and cover up my tulips because it is going to get down to 24 degrees. But I thought I'd take you in my backyard because as cold as it is, there are little pops of color showing, and they just look really cute looking out my kitchen window where I was warm. It's not as fun out here now, but I'm going to turn you around and just take you on a quick look. It's a lot of fun. It's just so fun to see color, even though they're kind of getting destroyed by the weather. Now let's run up here. This is what's fun to look out at in my kitchen window. There's just all these pops of color from these tiny little daffodils and hyacinth and things that I planted about 2 or 3 years ago. And they're just tiny, but they're so dainty and cute. it's just fun to look out here at all these little Easter type colors. Of course the plants are getting destroyed, but it's still fun to see all this pops of color. It looks like little Easter eggs to me from my kitchen window. And they are pretty, even with some of the destruction that they've been through. It changes the color, so you've got some blues and purples, some pinks and whites. And they really just look pretty together. Things are greening up, even with this cold weather. And these are some mini tulips that have been here, and as you see, they do get destroyed in the cold weather, but they are tough. Look at this one. It's been frozen and everything else, and it still doesn't even look half bad. It's got snow in it. Then I've got the little grape hyacinth. So anyway, I thought that was really fun. Sorry if the audio is horrible. It is very windy out, but I thought that would be just kind of fun to see some color popping. The grass is coming in green, even though it's going to be 24 degrees here. And got some grass coming up in my mulch, but that's okay. It's just on the edge. Yay! It looks like spring. It is spring. It doesn't feel like spring. But I'm going to go out to my farm now, and I am going to get my tulips covered because it is going to be 24 degrees later today. And after that, I don't think I'll have to cover them again. Yay! So, it's a new day, and I wanted to give you an update on the tulips. All of the cloth is off of them. We had a horribly windy night the other night, and I learned the importance of having these ends tight. So last year I dug posts into the ground and tied the ends to them, but then I was tripping over them and I had to pull them out with the tractor because they were in so far I couldn't pull them out. And so I kind of slacked on that this year. And what happened is that it got loose from the staples in the ground because it rained and the ground got soft and the staples lifted out. And then the wind was just pulling at them and it lifted all those staples out, and then the fabric fell off the sides. And I think they kind of whipped the tulips, and the tulips got very windblown and very sad probably. But the crazy thing is the tulips that weren't in the frost cloth, so that's this row, they are looking pretty good. They're like standing up pretty straight, looking decent. And most of the other tulips are too. Like these are okay. I do have a patch where no tulips have came up yet, so that must have been a bad batch. But then I have some tulips, and the frost cloth doesn't even reach these. I'm guessing it's the wind or something. And maybe they'll stand up like as they get warmer. You can see there's actually tulip buds in there. But they are kind of like falling over and look kind of sad, and like they just look bent. Like they just kind of fell over and look sad. But maybe the sun will get them. We'll come take a look later today and see if they stand up a little bit in the sun. But right now they're looking okay. I don't think I need to use the frost cloth again because in a few weeks I should be pulling, well, I actually pulled one tulip the other day because it looked ready to go, and I'm just testing it in my house. I'll try to get footage of that when I get back home. But the rest of them, I mean, I've got tulips coming up, so I'll be pulling some of them. Let's go over here. So if you look, these are the tulip buds. They're not colored up yet, so they're not ready to pull. And see, like these have fallen over. I'm hoping they stand up a little bit. But there's definitely some of these tulips that are getting budded up. They're getting ready to pull. Which is crazy to me because it's not even April yet. It will be though in a few days. But even these, like they're starting to crack And then I'll want to be pulling that probably relatively soon. This one has a little bit of tip of color to it, but I like to get it when there's more color coming like down the leaves. I did pull one the other day. So yeah, there are definitely tulip buds coming up. Some of them are exposed. These tulips look really sad. Like that is just a limp. That one almost looks dead. And see how these have all kind of just fallen over. I don't know if they're just goners, if the cold got them. These were covered, but they might have just got too cold. I don't know. We will see. They're pretty strong plants. I mean, we've had many nights where it got down to 22 degrees. So we'll see if when they warm up, it's supposed to be about 60 degrees today. Here's my favorite ones, but as you can see, they've all just fallen down. Like there's a few that are standing up tall and happy. I'm hoping with the sun, because you know the tulips are kind of creepy. Like at night they close up and then in the day they open up. So when you give them to people in the vase, they open wide up, and then at night they kind of close. So I'm hoping the sunlight and the warmth today maybe makes them kind of stand up and be tall. I don't know if that will be the case or not. I might just have some that aren't very tall and straight. But I know like when you go to sell to a florist, they want tall, big stems, but it is fun to design sometimes with stems that like lean over the side, because you can get a lot of different looks. So if they still bloom, but they have a little bit of a curved stem, I think I will be able to use them in my arrangements. And then just save like the big, tall, straight ones. I can use those in my arrangements too. But some of the varieties haven't gotten as tall yet, so I don't think the cold hurt them as much. And then some of these are still standing up really tall and straight. And not all of them have buds yet, so I think we're gonna be good, even with 22-degree weather. But I don't think I have any picking to do. I did pick a couple daffodils the other day. It was my grandma's 93rd birthday, so I picked some daffodils and gave them to her. I don't have enough to give them to all my customers, and they were really short, so I just used a little tiny vase and put about 13 daffodils in it. I have a lot more in the field, but this year they're going to be really short, so we will see how the daffodils go. You can't really mix them with any other flowers. They're like the serial killers of the flower world. They put off a toxic sap that just kills all other flowers. So I don't like to mix them with anything, because then it makes the quality of my flowers diminish. So I try to just use them with maybe some greenery. But I did put some dried celosia in with them, and it looked amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't had that much fun making wreaths and doing that stuff, which I know sometimes you don't have fun in some areas of your job and you do them anyway. But I was like, wow, if I could grow more celosia and dry it when I do tulips in the spring, I could put that in with some of the willow, and it actually made a really cute little arrangement. So that's something I'm thinking about for the future, using some of my dried stuff to add some color to my spring bouquets. And I think people will love it. My grandma loved it, and all my aunts said that's really pretty. We really like that arrangement. What's that flower? And I was like, it's a dried flower, because celosia looks almost the exact same fresh as it does dried. I mean, a little bit different, but it's pretty dried. So it actually added a really good pop to that arrangement. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and give you an update. I was thinking of just taking all the hoops and frost cloth down and making some new stuff over there for my Lysianthus and snapdragons. I haven't decided yet, but it is supposed to be a nice day. So I think what I'm going to do is get some of the fabric out of this chicken house, and I'm going to start designing my field down there so I can put up my deer fence and get some of the fabric laid. I do want to leave some room for tilling, but that's what my agenda is today. But I think I'm going to go ahead and start a new video for that, because this video I really wanted to show you that laser thermometer gun and show you that it is a lot warmer when the sun's shining. It is warmer under the hoops, and sometimes it's actually even warmer than the air if it's been warm outside for a long period of time. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video and start the next. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope I see you in the next one.